The landscape of luxury publishing has changed acutely over the past decade, and how we consume content is no longer the same. In this panel, Kalli Purie, Vice Chairperson and Executive Editor-in-Chief, India Today Group, and Kim Clair Bodden, SVP, Global Editorial and Brand Director, Hearst, weigh in on what the future looks like, the way in which we are creating business and editorial synergies, reinventing the medium, and more. May I please request my speakers to come on the stage?
Private conversation.
I'm feeling so relaxed about it.
Hello? No.
Hello. Yeah.
It's on.
Now it's on.
It's on.
Is mine on? Yeah.
Yours on.
Shall I sing? No.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, for your time today. Okay, I'm going to jump right in with my first question for Kalli and Kim is, when you're thinking of launching a luxury platform in a different country, how do you approach what is relevant or what is not relevant for that market? Kim, I'm going to open this to you first.
Sure, thank you. It's a great question. Can you hear me? Everything is okay. It's a full question. If I go back to a recent launch, we just recently relaunched Harper's Bazaar in France and in the print version in Italy. So I would answer by saying that we have these historical, legendary brands, right? So it comes from that, right? But I think the secret to our success is really that we choose our partners really wisely. So India today, I don't know, how long are we in business?
25 years.
25 years. Okay, so 25 years and counting. So in France, actually, we chose an amazing partner. The partner is Prisma, but it's owned by Vivendi, which is a multi-platform media giant. So I would say in France, the timing was everything because we had been in France 40 years ago. So what we did was we presented our brand, which everyone knew, obviously, because it had been there 40 years ago. But we wanted to tap into what was happening in the market. But what I was saying before about the secret to our success is that we have to rely on our publishers in local markets to be the experts, right? They know what will work in their market, and they in turn rely on us to be the brand experts. But the true magic comes from the conversation, the dialogue, the openness to really create the magic that is in France or Italy or in India. As Kalli said, we're here 25 years, and if you look at the Indian edition of Bazaar, it's really Indian and it's really beautiful, but it really does speak to the enormity of this historied brand of Harper's Bazaar.
So I think this sinks right into what you're trying to do, Kalli, is to bring international brands to India. What is your thought process like while you choose these things?
You know, it's a bit like a soulmate. You don't really choose them. They just sort of show up. And I would say that whatever we have done with Hearst for the last 25 years, and I hope Kim would second that, is not necessarily business, but it's a friendship.
It's a
and
family.
That's why we're together for 25 years. We've seen each other through thick and thin. And I think one of the most important factors in making any decision related to business is gut. I mean, at least in our business, that's always been the case. We're not analysis paralysis type of company at all, right? We go with gumption. And that's one of the most important things. You read the pulse, you see the mood of what's happening, and then essential piece is the gut. What does your gut say?
Okay. So when you say that you rely on your instincts, I think it may be the same for you when you decide which market to launch in, or is this more like an analytical process?
I won't lie that you have to have some sort of analytical mind to launch magazines, particularly in this landscape. But I also think it's more about being sensitive to the market. Listen, it's a very nuanced business, and we're not oracles. We don't know what is going to explode in success or, fail fast. But when I say fail fast, you have to have a nose for that. So if something fails fast, you get out of there. And if something shows success, you start to iterate on that success, and hopefully it will continue.
So Kim, then what are the possibilities and challenges for luxury publishers that have come to the fore in the last, say, half a decade?
I couldn't hear. Could you say that again?
Can we have a little less chatter at the back, please? Thank you, thank
Sorry,
you.
thanks.
See, this is good. Okay, so what are the possibilities and challenges as a luxury publishers that have come for you in the last half a decade?
I know it sounds cliche, but I guess, challenges, often people say they're opportunities. I think you just have to be super nimble and be able to pivot whenever anything is thrown at you. So obviously, I go back maybe a decade and a half ago, digital, what are we going to do about digital? What are we going to do about that? How are we going to grow? But what I believe Hearst, or what from my side, is that I am completely passionate and committed to the storytelling and our brands. I mean, I'm a brand ambassador. So what I know is what our brands do. And how do you kind of massage that to fit into what's happening in the landscape today? Our last panel, it was wonderful because, you have someone who is absolutely current on what's happening in India, and then two other gentlemen who have come into India and have a very important aspect and perspective about how to make that business grow. But the working together is really what's going to make the success. So challenges, I don't know. I mean, just trying to find people who are still interested in print, for instance. That's a challenge, but
Okay.
I love it.
So,
I think just to add to that, I think the younger generation is very into fashion. So that's a huge opportunity, But at the same time, the younger generation is getting a lot of their fashion sense, influence, news from digital. So how do you kind of bridge that gap? It's an opportunity, but it's also a challenge, right?
yeah, so this actually leads me to my next question, which is luxury brands are adopting a multi-channel approach towards the rapidly evolving environment. And, with this whole India Today group being very much at the top of being on all kinds of platforms and mediums. However, the digital space, when you see it's cluttered with low barrier entry, how do then luxury brands leverage digital platforms to make a significant impact?
So I think we were discussing this off stage, right? It really is a difference between a digital red rose being sent to you on WhatsApp and a beautiful bunch of red roses being sent to you in person. The two things really don't compare. So yes, you can have digital access to a brand and you can see maybe what it looks like, but it's only a part of what that brand represents. It's only when you're in the store where you get this feel, the smell, the experience of the brand that it comes alive. So I think the two can work very well together, where one can advertise and grow the brand, and then the other can create the experience for the consumer who can access it.
Right, so it's not either or, it's both
it's,
working in
it's
synergy.
always interdependent.
Okay, so Kim, sorry.
And I would just add to that, if you look at what's happening today, it's the experience as well, right? So back in the day, there was print in the center, and then you had all these other things. But today, I think it's just that it's brand-centric. So when you have luXperiences and you can see the artistry and the magnificent workmanship of everything together, it just makes it all the more.
It's your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not going to repeat that.
We heard you.
But
Okay.
It makes it all visceral.
It's a visceral
You can feel it.
That's true.
So,
Thank you.
So I'm gonna.
See, this is the part of being good partners. You can complete each other's sentences. This is what it
This
takes.
is a long relationship.
This is what it takes.
This relationship is concrete. Okay, so Kim, print has long been a natural place for luxury brands to belong. Do you think this still holds true with so much digital influence around us? And does luxury brand positioning translate better on print versus digital?
I won't say that it translates better on print or digital, but I would say absolutely there is a place for luxury in print. You know, Harper's Bazaar is a coffee table book. It's a tactile thing. You know, you look at it, juxtapose all the beautiful ads. It's a very symbiotic experience. That said, there are so many innovative ways to create that same luxury experience online or in social or in an experience. So I don't think it's one or the other. We have certain countries in the world where 70% of their ad revenue comes from print. We have other places in the world where it's the opposite. You know, leveling out might be a good thing, but we're focusing at Hearst in the US to grow our digital revenue. But at the end of the day, it's revenue and it could live in any appropriate place.
So Kalli, you know, Kim is saying print is important. On the other hand, you know, we've at the group been working on all things AI and projects related to AI. Where do you stand when it comes to the relevance of print versus digital versus now AI?
So look, you know, asking a person like me about print is asking a very biased person. I'm going to say I love print. I love the tactile feeling of a freshly printed magazine. And though I will very often see the black books of our magazines before they go to print, once they come back from print, I still want to see them. I still want to read them. I don't know. It's something about it being concrete and firm and the fact that it can't be changed that gives it that feel. To the second part of your question about AI, I think it's a very interesting period for, you know, every field, but fashion as well. I mean, most of you would have seen the viral or digital moment of where at a fashion show, Bella Hadid had a dress printed on her in 3D, right? So where does that take the hand craftsmanship? Where does it take tailors? Where does it take designers? And then from the AI perspective, what happens to design when AI is designing fashion? You put in all of a particular brand in there and say, hey, create something new at the touch of a button. Or you have models which are perfection without any of the things that go with being human, created on AI, right? Like, you know, you work on so many shoots. Would you, if you had a chance, work with a celebrity or work with an AI model? No tantrums, no demands, no like
No
last
managers,
minute requests.
no managers.
Yeah, no managers. Like, you know, you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna work with AI.
But I would also say that, listen, AI is here to stay. It's just how do we embrace it? How do we work with it? But what you're saying, Kalli, again, you know, there's the question of intellectual property, right?
Yes.
So that's a super important part of where the AI future is going to be. So, you know, who knows? But
So you see, this I think is the churn, right? What is intellectual property? When we were just discussing this as well, like a brand gets inspired by the success of another brand and then creates the same with their brand, right? So you have the beautiful sandals, sorry to point at yours, made, right? And I don't know which brand started them first, but now every brand has those beautiful sandals with their brand name. Now, is that intellectual property? Who's was it inspired?
it's art.
Then, like, if AI does the same, what's the issue? So it's really interesting question, and I'm not saying I've decided either side, but I spend a lot of time and energy just thinking about this. And same for you, because we both, in our brands, have created so much intellectual property. And what really happens to that intellectual property in the day and age of AI? So you want to flirt with it, but you are also sleeping with the enemy. So you got to kind of decide.
Of course. But you know, when you think about brands like Harper's Bazaar, the essence, there's
Yeah.
pure essence to Harper's Bazaar or to Gucci or to Pucci or to all of the brands. Christian Louboutin, okay, we know there's the red soul, right? That's kind of staple for them, and no one else has done that, really,
That's
because
true.
that's their own.
Somebody's doing pink souls.
Okay.
I don't have the answers. I just know that people love luxury and they want to have access to it. But I have my own personal designers that I love, right? So I kind of know the little stuff about them, and you know, it's
So-
to each his own. I guess.
So I'm going to, you know, we've run out of time, and I'd love to know more about all of this. I'm going to end this conversation by knowing, can you please tell us who are you wearing today and who are you wearing today? Because you all are not going to tell me who your favorite luxury brands are, but at least you can tell me what your preferred luxury brands for today are. Kim, you go first.
Okay, how embarrassing. So I would say, sadly I don't have Pucci, because I love Pucci. But I have Prada, Hermes, Cartier, Argentine designers. So anyway, a mélange.
Thank you.
Sonal, you don't kiss it.
Hermes.
No,
Chanel.
Sonal, you do not kiss and tell. You do not wear and tell either. Okay?
Why did
And
you
if you can't
trick
figure
question,
out,
Kim.
if you can't figure out the brands I'm wearing, my job is well done.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Thank you,
Okay,
thank
so
you,
wait a
thank you,
second.
ladies. Thank you.
That's
Thank
terribly
you.
unfair. But I lied. I
But-
don't have
but-
anything of those people on.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you,
very
Sonal.
much.